actually invested in this technology about 5 years ago. We bought a company called Ultrasonic Corporation that was very strong, building an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, what they call the four-finger scanner. This is for military and government use, and they saw pretty wide deployment of this technology. And at the time, it was very hard to pass these kind of government security requirement specifications using other technologies, for example, optical technologies and capacitive. And ultrasonic fingerprint had kind of proved itself. And what we did is we kind of took on the challenge of how do you take this large area, four-finger fingerprint sensor that you find at the airports as we go through security, how do you take that and miniaturize it and put it in a form factor for a smartphone?
I didn't realize it's the same technology.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. I mean, that's the heritage, if you will. There's a different TFT stack up and some of the sensor components and the pixel elements, but it comes from that same heritage and know-how. So, we said, gee, if it's our kind of assumption at the time was security is number one because you're unlocking your device, and then performance and other features come after that. So, from a security standpoint, our positioning has been, there's been two parts of the quadrant, if you will. One is on the security angle, and the second is performance, the user enjoyment, if you will, for using that unlock method versus something else. As we've been working with key OEMs, by the way, our technology is really oriented right now towards the Snapdragon 800, the premium tier. And the reason for that is the ultrasonic technology just works with what's called flexible OLED displays. They're also called POLED or plastic OLED displays. And because of that, those are pretty much limited to the Snapdragon 800, 700 tier at this point. They'll be working their way down into other periods. So the requirements for...
But so right now it's exclusive to 855.
No.
It's not.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize that.
Not only do we work on other Snapdragon platforms, the optimum performance would be with an 855, but to some extent we're platform agnostic, so we could work not only with other Snapdragon chipsets, but also with other operating systems and other chipsets, such as a Huawei Hisense or Samsung implementations.
But you guys are introducing it with the 855.
Yes, this is a kind of a relaunch, if you will, of our second generation of the ultrasonic technology. So what's happened is the customers in this area, when you're selling a phone for $1,000, it better have premium features across the board. And the customers are quite stringent about their specifications and what you have to do from a security and performance standpoint. So frankly speaking, our early design wins have been where the customer has tried to use alternate approaches, and they've ended up coming back and say, you're the ones that meet our spec. The motivation behind the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor is that we all want, we're paying for these beautiful displays, and so we don't want anything interrupting the full display effect. So there's a huge effort going towards shrinking the bezel and that notch at the top and going to teardrop designs and others. And to have that physical button on the front of the phone was just deemed as wasteful to the full display effect. So the alternatives were to put the fingerprint sensor on the back, which is done by Samsung. But sometimes you're touching your lens and your camera and so there's been a number of studies that have been done. We've done our own, and it's either 78 or 76% of users prefer the fingerprint sensor on the front. So the idea is, well, gee, that's what people want, but how do you do that? And it's very challenging because we have to send an ultrasonic and a pulse, an acoustic wave through the whole display.
Oh wow!
And that has to bounce up and have enough strength to be able to read the ridges and valleys in your fingerprint, and then send that back down accurately and match it up with your registered fingerprint. And it has to be, you have to be able to do it reliably and fast and secure. So it's been quite a challenge to get that, and so we're pretty happy. So our first generation, we didn't quite get to where we needed to be, so we revamped our basic design, the TFT sensor design, and all of it now is coming together, and we're able to hit these performance levels.
For your first generation, are there any models out there that I know of that are using it?
There's not any that are shipping right now, but
Okay.
there's those that have been introduced in modest models previously.
So what would you say is the main difference between, like, all right, Huawei has the in-screen, OnePlus 6T has it.
Yeah.
They're not using your technology though, right? Okay, so what is the main difference between the way they're collecting on-screen or in-screen fingerprint reading versus this?
Correct. So just a clarification, in some of those phones, they weren't able to use our technology because those are rigid OLED phones. So by definition, we don't work in a rigid OLED implementation, so we haven't tried to get in there. The main difference is the competing solutions pretty much, and there's 3 or 4 companies right now that are kind of in that business. They use an optical sensor approach, and so basically think of it as not like a camera implementation. There's light shine from the display, the light sees your fingerprint, brings it back down. That's a little bit of why we selected 3D Sonic as the name. Our fingerprint sensor cannot be spoofed, or it cannot be violated by a 2D object, such as a print of your fingerprint. By definition, it has to read a 3D object like a physical finger.
Gotcha.
Now, one of the challenges still for the optical companies as well as ourselves is how can you defeat a spoof attempt of something that's finger-like? It's latex, it's gelatin, it's wax, these kinds of things. So we've got an anti-spoofing software technology that we're using that we build that into our stack and offering to our customers. And that's kind of under development right now. I don't want to say anything bad about the other technology.
Of course.
It's just, it's a different approach. What our customers have shown us, because they've done pretty thorough evaluations of both, is that both from a security and performance standpoint, the optical sensors don't get to where they want. In particular, our first couple customers that will be introducing in the springtime this year.
Springtime.
So
That's pretty soon.
So this is more secure,
It's more secure.
more accurate.
Yeah, and the latency is better and the performance is better.
Fantastic.
And today, I think there's some videos on the web where in some of the phones that are out there, I don't want to. These are all our customers. So I don't want
Right, of course,
They
no.
don't work half the time.
No, it's just newer technology.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
yeah, we're just evolving here. So,
So
yeah.
in some of these phones, you can leave your fingerprint image on your phone itself, and then you can take a picture of that image.
Oh.
And then you can go over to the laser printer and print that picture out, cut out a little print of your fingerprint, bring that back over, put it on your phone, and unlock the phone.
Wow.
This isn't 3D spoofing, with a dead person's finger.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
wax or gelatin. It's
Oh
just
my
taking
gosh.
a photograph. So those are the kind of things that we don't think are acceptable, or at least our customers don't.
Well, I mean, it's early days in the technology, and now this is just the next step, right? I mean, if you want to have an in-screen fingerprint reader, this is what was available this year, and now next year it's going to be that much better, that much stronger. So it's not putting anybody down. It's basically just saying the technology is evolving and it's getting more secure and it's getting more accurate.
What's that expression? Each ceiling when reached becomes the floor?
Exactly,
So that's kind of what-
exactly.
Oh, that really answered all of it.